An Unemployment Guide. Chapter 1. A U.S. Unemployment Guide. Unemployment Benefits Info/Unemployment Insurance. The Unemployment Compensation Program was established by the Social Security Act of 1935. The spirit of it was and continues to be to provide a weekly cash benefit to workers who are temporarily unemployed and help them get re-employed. Unemployment insurance, UI, programs are administered by state governments, but the federal government has established basic minimum standards for how it is run. Currently, the minimum benefit period is 26 weeks. In some economically depressed areas, a 13-week extension may be granted. There is generally a 1-week waiting period before benefits start. Every state has different laws regarding unemployment. Unemployment benefits come down to fault. If the unemployment is your fault, like getting fired, quitting, or doing something wrong, you won't get benefits or only limited benefits that start later than losing your job to factors beyond your control. If it's beyond your control, like a layoff or downsizing, then you get benefits. Generally, you're eligible for unemployment benefits if you have at least a year of employment to your record in which taxes have been taken out and have been terminated for any reason beyond your control. If you have quit, you might still be eligible, especially if you have a note from a doctor saying you have chronic fatigue syndrome or something like that. In some places, if you quit a job, you have the option to appear before a board at a formal hearing who will hear your case and decide if you merit receiving employment insurance. If you can prove it was a horrible job with poor working conditions, there's a good bet you will be able to collect. If you were laid off by your employer for any reason other than being fired for incompetency, call your local unemployment office, the number is in the phone book, or go down with your pink slip, fill out some forms, and you should get your first check within weeks. If you were fired, you have to talk to one of the government counselors, who then contacts your employer, talks to him or her, and decides whether you qualify for unemployment or not. In most areas of the United States, you can work a year, 52 weeks, then collect unemployment for 6 months, 26 weeks, or even longer in some economically depressed areas. Most labor departments have some kind of requirement where you have to document that you're actually looking for work by handing in a list of places you've applied at every few weeks or so in order to keep collecting checks, but enforcement is lax. Once you start collecting checks, you can usually tap dance around their requirements. The generic questions they might ask you to check up on you are as follows. In the previous week, were you actively seeking full-time work? Did you refuse an offer of work? Did you receive your first payment from Social Security or a pension which you have not already reported, or was there a change in the amount previously reported? Did you start school, college, or training, which you have not already reported to the Department of Labor? Did you receive vacation pay, severance pay, or workers' compensation benefits, not previously reported? Did you work full-time or part-time for an employer or in self-employment, or return to full-time work for the week ending last Saturday, which you have not already reported? Unemployment insurance starts only when you file a claim at your local unemployment insurance office after you've been terminated from employment. You need your Social Security number, your record of employment for the previous year, and you have to fill the form in completely and accurately. The first check will come in about 2 to 3 weeks. Look in your phone book for the local office and request the free Unemployment Insurance Handbook. The general requirements are that you have worked a minimum number of weeks, usually at least 20, more often 52, or earned a minimum salary. The minimum salary varies in different states. Most states pay benefits only for 26 weeks. Massachusetts and Washington pay up to 30 weeks. Sometimes in depressed areas, the government extends benefits beyond the usual 26 weeks. Benefits are generally about 50% of former salary, with a cut-off maximum for those with very high salaries. The pay you receive for unemployment is based on the past 4 quarters in which you were employed. The 2 highest paying quarters are averaged, and the final result usually works out to half of what you were making per week while employed. Some states offer an extra few bucks per check for every dependent that you have called a dependency allowance. If you get a part-time job while you're collecting unemployment, you can still collect partial benefits. If you've worked full-time but your hours are cut back, you could claim partial benefits. In most states, there is a maximum weekly compensation rate that's such that anyone who makes a high salary can still only collect the max, which is currently around $400 per week. Every state has different exclusions. For example, agricultural workers, domestic workers, or self-employed people aren't covered in many states. You must show that you're willing and available to work and accept a reasonable job if one is offered to you. Once you get terminated from employment, file immediately because there is a waiting period. Bring your SSN card to the unemployment office. You may have to wait in line because they're often busy. Get the form, ask for the handbook and fill it out as clearly as possible. If you're denied for unemployment benefits, you can appeal twice. You fill out an appeal form, then go to a small hearing in front of a judge where you explain why you think you deserve benefits. You're allowed to bring witnesses. Your former employer may be there to state why you shouldn't receive benefits. The second appeal is in front of the state superior court. If you're desperate, you can apply for welfare, food stamps, and go to local food banks. Go to your state government employment services office or employment security office. Look up the state employment office in the phone book. To find out your state's rules, go to servicelocator.org. Click on to find unemployment insurance filing assistance. State unemployment insurance websites. Alabama. dir.alabama.gov/UC, Alabama Unemployment Compensation. Alaska. labor.state.ak.us/ESD_unemployment_insurance, Alaska Unemployment Insurance. Arizona. azeta.gov/landing.aspx?ID =4211, Arizona Unemployment Benefits. Arkansas. state.ar.us/esd/ui/index.htm, Arkansas Unemployment Application. California. edd.ca.gov/unemployment, California Unemployment Insurance. Colorado. colorado.gov/cs/satellite/cdle-unmp benefits/cdle/1248095315478, Colorado Unemployment Benefits. Connecticut. ctdol.state.ct.us/progs/upt/unmplt/unemployment.htm, Connecticut Unemployment Benefits. Delaware. delawareworks.com/unemployment/welcome.shtml, Delaware Unemployment Insurance. District of Columbia. does.dc.gov/does/cwp/view 81232Q5378555 does NAV32062.ASP, District of Columbia Unemployment Compensation. Florida. floridajobs.org/unemployment, Florida Unemployment Compensation. Georgia. dol.state.ga.us/js/unemployment_benefits_individuals.htm, Georgia Unemployment Benefits. Hawaii. hawaii.gov/labor/UI, Hawaii Unemployment Insurance. Idaho. labor.idaho.gov/dnn/unemployment insurance/tabd/680/default.aspx, Idaho Unemployment Insurance. Illinois. ides.state.il.us, Illinois Department of Employment Security. Indiana. in.gov/dwd/2334.htm, Indiana Unemployment. Iowa. iowaworkforce.org/ui, Iowa Unemployment Insurance Services. Kansas. getkansasbenefits.com, Kansas Unemployment Insurance. Kentucky. oet.ky.gov/de/ui/ui.htm, Kentucky Unemployment Insurance. Louisiana. lowercase.net/unemploymentinsurance/ui_claimants.asp, Louisiana Unemployment Insurance. Maine. maine.gov/labor/unemployment/benefits.html, Maine unemployment benefits. Maryland. dllr.state.md.us/employment/unemployment.shtml, Maryland unemployment insurance. Massachusetts. mass.gov/page ID =LWD agency landing &L =4 &L0 home &L1 government &L2 departments +& divisions +%(28 EOLWD %29 L3 division +of unemployment assistance &SID LWD, Massachusetts unemployment assistance. Michigan. Michigan.gov/UIA, Michigan Unemployment Insurance Agency. Minnesota. UIMN.org, Minnesota Unemployment Insurance. Mississippi. mdes.ms.gov/home/unemployment services/index.html, Mississippi Unemployment Services. Missouri. ui.labor.mo.gov/SOM, Missouri Division of Employment Security. Montana. uid.dli.mt.gov, Montana Unemployment Insurance Division. Nebraska. uibenefits.nwd.ne.gov/bpsweb/jsp/bpsclaimantwelcome.jsp, Nebraska Department of Labor. Nevada. detar.state.nv.us/esd%20 pages/file%20 ui%20 claim%20.htm, Nevada Employment Security Division. New Hampshire. nh.gov/nhe/jobseeker/rights_obligations.htm, New Hampshire Unemployment Compensation. New Jersey. newjerseysuccess.dol.state.nj.us/html/ui main.html, New Jersey Unemployment Insurance Benefits. New Mexico. dws.state.nm.us, New Mexico Unemployment Insurance. New York. ui.labor.state.ny.us/ubc/home.do, New York Unemployment Insurance. North Carolina. ncesc.com/default.aspx, North Carolina Employment Security Division. North Dakota. jobsnd.com/jsnd/jobsnd/insurance/workers.html, North Dakota Workforce Connections. Ohio. unemployment.ohio.gov, Ohio Unemployment Benefits. Oklahoma. unemployment.state.ok.us, Oklahoma Unemployment Insurance. Oregon. oregon.gov/employ/ui, Oregon Unemployment. Pennsylvania. uc.pa.gov/portal/server.pt/community/uc_pa_gov/11449, Pennsylvania Department of Education. Puerto Rico. dol.gov/dole/location.htm #PR, Puerto Rico Unemployment Insurance. Rhode Island. dlt.ri.gov/ui, Rhode Island Unemployment Compensation. South Carolina. sces.org, South Carolina Unemployment Compensation. South Dakota. dol.sd.gov/ui/default.aspx, South Dakota Unemployment Insurance. Tennessee. ui.tn.gov, Tennessee Employment Security Division. Texas. twc.state.tx.us/customers/jsemp/jsemp sub2.html, Texas Unemployment Claim Division. U.S. Virgin Islands. vidle.gov/unit/unemployment_insurance/ui_taxi.htm, U.S. Virgin Islands Unemployment Insurance. Utah. jobs.utah.gov/ui/continued claims/uiac-countthome.aspx, Utah Unemployment Insurance Benefits. Vermont. uipublic.labor.vermont.gov, Vermont Unemployment Insurance Division. Virginia. vec.virginia.gov/vecportal/index.cfm, Virginia Employment Commission. Washington. esd.wa.gov/UI benefits, Washington Employment Security Department. West Virginia. wwc.org/wvweb/welcome.aspx, West Virginia Unemployment Compensation. Wisconsin. dpi.state.wi.us/grants.html, Wisconsin Unemployment Insurance. Wyoming. dwd.wyoming.gov/ui, Wyoming Unemployment Insurance Services. Chapter 2. Unemployment Resources. Unemployment Websites. workforcesecurity.deolata.gov/unemploy/ui factsheet.asp, fact sheet to find out if you are eligible and how to file for benefits. Then find your state in this. workforcesecurity.deolata.gov/map.asp, Directory of Workforce Development Agencies. You'll find a link to the state agency that handles unemployment claims. While you might not be able to apply for benefits online, the site will describe how to complete the process in person. jobline.net/futeincome1.htm. careeronest.org/localhelp/unemployment-benefits/find-unemployment-benefits.aspx. deolata.gov/program/ui-bany.htm, unemployment benefits. deolata.gov/program/ui-info.htm, unemployment insurance. clarkhoward.com/topics/unemployment_insurance.html, unemployment insurance guide. careeronest.org/reemployment/get-immediate-help/unemployment-benefits.aspx. chooseusd.org, Unemployment Services Trust. deolata.gov/program/ui-bany.htm, unemployment benefits. deolata.gov/program/ui-info.htm, unemployment insurance. unemployedworkers.org. unemployment.com. unemploymentbenefitservices.biz. urban75.com/action/jsa/jsa1.html, Job Seekers Allowance, a survival guide. This guide is to help people deal with the changes at the dole office under the JSAVEC.virginia.gov. National Foundation for Unemployment Compensation and Workers' Compensation. National Foundation for Unemployment Compensation and Workers' Compensation. 1331, Pennsylvania Avenue. NW. Number 1500 N Tower. Washington, D.C. 20004. 202-682-1517. uwcstrategy.org. National Association of State Workforce Agencies/NASWA. The Association of State Workforce Agencies is the national organization representing all state workforce agencies, D.C., and U.S. territories. These agencies deliver training, employment services, and administers the unemployment insurance, veteran reemployment, and labor market information programs. National Association of State Workforce Agencies/NASWA. 444 North Capitol Street, NW. Number 30. Washington, D.C. 20001. NASWA at naswa.org. naswa.org. linkedin.com/company/national-association-of-state-workforce-agencies. facebook.com/naswa.org. twitter.com/naswa.org. Employer Service Organizations at archive.org. Then uwcstrategy.org/employer-services/organizations. autax.org, Association of Unemployment Tax Organizations, Auto. barnettassociates.com, Barnett Associates Incorporated. ccitpa.com, CareWorks Consultants. ccs-national.com, Corporation Counseling Service. corporatecostcontrol.com, Corporate Cost Control. employeradvocates.com, Employer Advocates LLC. EmployersGE.com, Employers Edge LLC. EmployersUnity.com, Employers Unity. EMPTech.com, EMPTech. Equifax.com, Equifax Workforce Solutions. FallConferenceServices.com. FirstNonprofitCompanies.com, First Nonprofit Companies Incorporated. NSNES.com, NSN Employer Services Incorporated. Paychecks.com, Paychecks. PeopleSystems.com, PeopleSystems/NEC. PersonnelPlanners.com, Personnel Planners Incorporated. RuEC.biz, Renaissance Unemployment Insurance Consultants Incorporated. Sedgwick.com, Comp Management, Inc., a Sedgwick CMS company. TWEmployerservices.com, TNW Employer Services Incorporated. UCAdvantage.net, UC Advantage Incorporated. UCconsultants.com, UC Consultants. UScorp.com, USC Corp. UTMcorp.com, Unemployment Tax Management Corp. Benefits websites / compensation websites. CareerOnestOp.org/salaries benefits /salaries benefits.aspx. BenefitsLink.com. EBRI.org, Employee Benefit Research Institute. DOL.gov/EBSs/publications/joblosstoolkit.html, Health and Retirement Benefits Toolkit. Unemployed websites / laid-off websites. DOLATA.gov/jobseekers/laid-off_workers.cfm, Employment and Training Administration. JobLossGuide.net, Job Loss Guide Network. LayoffSpace.com. AllConferences.com, AllConferences, find conferences in your industry and attend them. Bloomberg.com, lost a job. CrisisBullshit.com, unemployment news and resources. eHow.com, how to survive a job loss. eHow.com, layoffs terminations. EmploymentDigest.net. EZNarticles.com, surviving job loss, emotional recovery. Girlswithgoals.com, place for women who have been laid off. JustThrive.com. Meetup.com, meetup. SurviveHisJobLoss.com. SurviveJobLoss.com. SurvivingJobLoss.com. TheJobVault.com. Wisebread.com. Wisebread.com/lost-my-job-tips-for-the-recently-laid-off. Canada Unemployment Insurance Program. The rules are always changing about how long you have to work to qualify and how much money you get for how long. We call it unemployment insurance. The bureaucrats call it employment insurance. Canada.ca/n/employment-social-development.html. Canada.ca/n/services/benefits/ei.html. Artcharm.com/Canadian_employment_insurance.htm, Canadian Employment Insurance.